Have you ever looked at your paycheck and felt absolutely nothing? Or maybe you run your own business and you're making money and the customers are calling, the bills are getting paid, but you still feel drained, frustrated, and just miserable. Today, we're going to talk about a simple, powerful truth, and that is all money is not good money. And as a matter of fact, a lot of us have to find this out the hard way. We live in a world that constantly tells us, secure the bag, chase the money, get the paper at all costs. But what happens when securing the bag is slowly suffocating your entire soul? And then what happens when the money is taking away your joy, your peace, your happiness? It's all for nothing. Let's start with jobs. A lot of us are good at our jobs or even great at our jobs. But just because you're good or great at your job, it does not mean that that job is great for you or good for you. You wake up in the morning stressed, you go to work, you're stressed, you come home, you're stressed, and then you can't even sleep well at night because you're still stressed about the job. But you look at it and say, man, that paycheck sure hits real nice on every other Thursday, so you deal with it. But here's the truth. If that money is draining your happiness, your joy, your peace, damaging your mental health, I'm here to tell you that that is not good money. So let me give you a personal story. I worked for a large defense company for about 12 years. And during that time, I received, promotions and salary increases. And the last salary increase and promotion that I received, it bumped my salary up pretty significantly. But I hated every aspect of the job. It was draining my soul every day. Even though the money was nice, I got to the point to where I just had to walk away. I could not take doing this job anymore. I ended up taking off a couple of years from work and I just worked on my real estate side business during that time. And then after a couple of years, I decided to go back to work, but I didn't go back to my old company. I went to a different company and I went to a lesser role. And this role was making like $70,000 less than my previous job, but it's a world of difference. Like, I don't have the responsibility that I had at my old job. The people that I work with, man, they're cool, they're professional, and they look like me too. So it is a totally different world that I'm working in right now, even though I'm not making the same money, but my peace, my spirit, my mental health, my happiness is all improved. And here's the deal. I just participated in the largest contract win that this company has ever had in its history. And that could bring about some good opportunities, right, for advancement. But I have no desire for advancement. I have no desire to be promoted up to more responsibility because quite honestly, I see my director working and I get PTSD. I think about how I was in a similar role and I hated it. What I learned and what you will learn is that your time is valuable. Your peace is valuable. Your happiness is valuable. And if you are sacrificing those things just for the sake of earning income, you're not really earning income. You're paying a price. Now let's flip it because you will constantly hear people say that, man, I'll be much happier when I'm working for myself, or entrepreneurship is freedom. And it can be, but sometimes entrepreneurship can be a trap itself. Again, another personal example, you start to take on deals because you need the money, or you start to take on projects that you really don't want to do because they're more riskier and you don't really see the significant upside for that risk, but you still take on these deals. You find yourself having to manage people just like you did on your job. Or you find yourself doing every freaking job. You're the accounting manager, you're the finance manager, you're the project manager, you are the HR manager, you're everything. And you realize that you just jumped on a train that's just going around and around and around in a big old circle. And we come back to the same old truth. If money is burning you out, stressing you out, making you do things that you really don't want to do, and you're just not happy doing them, then you arrive at the same point. All money is not good money. And with entrepreneurship, sometimes things are just going to be out of your control, like the economy, the market, new laws, regulations, and so forth. And you're going to see deals that look profitable. But what you're not going to see is the emotional cost and the emotional stress that comes along with completing that project. Working for yourself is not necessarily going to bring you happiness if you complete a deal, collect a nice paycheck, and then you dread having to go do this exact same thing all over again. A lot of people don't understand that there's a cost to money. For every dollar that you make, sometimes it's going to cost you time, energy, It's going to cost you joy. It's going to cost you peace. It's going to cost you time with your kids. It's going to cost you time with your family. We glorify money to the point that we forgot the goal is not to just make money, but the goal is to make money that aligns with the life that you actually want to live. Money should enhance your life. It shouldn't drain you, and it definitely should not enslave you. So how do you know if the money is good for you or not? Well, you have to ask yourself a few questions. Does the money allow you to live the lifestyle that you want to live? Are you proud of the work that you're doing? Does the money take away your joy or bring you joy? Does it motivate you? Does it drain your soul, or does it give you a sense of purpose? If the money compromises your values, your mental health, your happiness, your joy, your peace, then that is not money that you're earning. That is a debt that you're paying. And once you understand that you're paying this debt with your happiness, then you're going to start making better choices of making money that align with your purpose, your mental health, your happiness, your peace, and your future. That is all I have for you in this video. If you took something of value, please like, please share it with your friends and your family. And in the meantime, take care of yourself and be safe out here in these social media streets.